Hey guys, Ellie Hart here from TC Helicon, and we are with Pascal, and Pascal is the bass player in Youngblood. Have you ever used vocal effects before?
Yes, I've used effects applied to vocals, but not effects that are specifically catered to vocals. So like, I would buy like an XLR to 1/4 inch cable, and I would like put in like my reverb pedal,
right,
like some generic thing, and I'd be like, cool, reverb. Otherwise, I would just go dry style and and just you know.
No one likes it dry.
Yeah, but I mean, it depends. I mean, if you're singing like hardcore stuff, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're just yelling in a mic no matter what. But for the ethereal kind of like atmospheric nature of some of the Youngblood songs, I think it's like imperative that I have some kind of treatment on my voice. So yeah, you guys came along and
problem solvers over here.
Yeah, totally, and it's been great. It's been a smooth ride ever since.
Cool. So I'm gonna whip this out.
Yeah, totally.
So this is the pedal that Pascal uses. It's our Duplicator pedal, and it's one of my favorites. Like every band that I talk to loves this guy. So maybe you can kind of say like what effects you use and how you use it, because you know, we've got a lot of vocalists aren't really like going to gear is not their first inclination. So how would you set that pedal up as a background singer?
I've had a few different setups since I've had it. Fairly in, like I mean, out in, and then you get your on-off, you know, easy setup. First off, I always liked the tone on.
Yes.
It adds a bit of warmth and compression.
Yes.
And who doesn't like a little compression? I mean, you know.
So what I always say to people is that the tone button for us is like we kidnapped this little sound man and we just like shrunk him and we threw him inside the pedal, and he does all of your EQing and your compression for you.
I mean, and that's, who doesn't like that? And it's clearly like you can clearly hear that it's there's a sonic difference between tone off and tone on, and I personally like it on. I don't use too much correction. I find like if you want to crank it full blast, it's really fun.
It's really weird.
It's a really fun gag, and if you're kind of having some goofy times in the jam space,
yeah, it's
fun to just, you know, throw it in, sing a little T-Pain or whatever.
Yeah.
But I pretty much like left of center for sure, or yeah, my left, yeah. The doubling is cool. I'm a huge fan of chorus. It adds layers and a little bit of waviness.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, pretty much center. So it's on the loose setting, so the doubling effect is a little bit more spaced. Just about center, just like, you know, 50-50.
12 o'clock.
Totally. Good place to start. And then as far as your reverb goes, there's an array of, well, different flavors. I kind of was experimenting with the club, and I was leaving it like that for club gigs.
Yeah.
But lately, straight up, I just maxed it out in the hall setting. I find that a lot of the background vocals in Youngblood are in falsetto, and they're just drenched in verb to begin with on the record. So I'm like, well, why shouldn't I replicate that as it is? And with the limited use of tracks that we use live, this is like with the hall reverb, it just helps me blend with the tracks, or helps the tracks blend with me, whichever way you look at it. And that's kind of how it is, and it's always on. Always on? Always on.
So I don't,
it's on my pedal board, like so, stamping on, and super easy. And that's what I like about it. You don't have to think twice about it. It's just there, and it does the trick.
And how do you communicate this to soundmen that you're working with?
I say, hey man, I'm Pascal. Oh, your name's Todd. Nice to meet you. Oh, I need an extra XLR. I'm gonna run this through. They're like, cool. And then they give me an XLR, and then I do the sound check, and it's fine every time.
Nice.
There's no feedback. There's no like issues. There's no. Sound guys can be sometimes particular with having, you know, they want the full soundscape at their fingertips.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, like, this has not caused any problems, and it sounds good. It sounds good for me. Sounds good for, I think, other people. And that's as much that, I mean, that's pretty much all I want out of a pedal, really.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us today.
It's my pleasure. And I mean, I really appreciate sending this my way and introducing me to a whole soundscape of, well, a whole tonal world that I otherwise would have not known.
Yay. We're making a difference.